Welcome back for another video. Recording this straight off the back of the Liverpool versus Man City game. What a crazy end to the game week. An absolutely horrendous one for my FPL team that turned the green arrow red, with Van Dijk finishing on 0 and Haaland ending up with 11 points. Szoboszlai red card. I didn't have him in my team, but I actually wish I did, because he still managed to clinch 2 bonus despite the red and finish on 8 points, and he got Defcon. 67 points all out and a red arrow to 45k. Rice in for Saka was the transfer, who ended up hitting Defcon in the win over Sunderland for a 5-pointer, double Arsenal clean sheet, double Man United goals as well from captain Bruno and Mbeumo, and Thiago bagging against Newcastle once again, though he did get booked, so just 5 points from him. You might remember in last week's video I was saying that I'd be happy to sort of just survive this week, given that I had to play Van Dijk against City and play Mane against Chelsea, and they unsurprisingly both blanked. So yeah, small red. Double game week up next though, so is it time to use the triple captain chip? Let's have a quick look first at how you guys got on. Davey says, bench boost enhanced. Absolutely crazy week. 108 points all out, with only a few blanks in his whole team, Senesi, Wilson and Krupi. He had Palmer's hat-trick, plus double-digit points from Bruno, Rodgers and Haaland. FPL Marcelo says, my worst game week of the season can finally be included in this. 10.8 million game week rank. Overall ranks dropped from 5.6k to 21.3k. He went Bowen captain, which didn't pay off against Burnley unfortunately, and blanks from Ekitike, Wilson and Pickford as well. To be fair, still a fantastic rank at 21k. Last one. Owen didn't even use a chip, but he had the greatest week he'll ever have, with 110 points. Palmer captain, who got him 40 alone. He had double digits from Dewsbury Hall, Palmer, Bruno, Haaland. Actually, that's 113 points after Haaland, since we're recording like minutes after the game week's ended. He got 3 bonus. Well played, Owen. I launched a brand new tool today which is free, and I'm calling it points changes. So we've all had players unexpectedly lose their bonus or lose their Defcon points in our team after the final update, or sometimes you unexpectedly can gain points, which is quite a nice surprise. This is always dictated by Opta, not FPL, and for the first time in FPL history there's a tool now that tells you all of the upcoming points changes, so you know which points changes come in before everyone else. I won't bore you with the details, but this was actually incredibly difficult to accomplish, so I'm really happy with it. And as I say, it's completely free. You can install the FPL Focal app with a link in the description, or literally just search FPL Focal in the app stores. You can also access the new page from your browser at fpl.page/points-changes. If you'd like to support the ongoing project and unlock all the premium features like hide the ads, customize your dashboard, the theme, the layout, and all the premium tools, it's only 77p a week as well. So let's run through the team for Double Gameweek 26 and transfer plans. In goal we're lined up with Raya of course. Arsenal have got about a 39% chance of a clean sheet against Brentford, 54% versus Wolves, which is roughly a 72% chance of keeping at least one. It's such a good double game week from a defensive perspective that I expect millions are going to be captaining someone in that Arsenal defence this week, which in my view is where I'm leaning. In defence, we're lined up with O'Reilly, Gabriel and Van Dijk, and it's Gabriel captain. If he split his season up into pairs of game weeks, his lowest back-to-back score combined all season is 9 points. He and Rice are my top 2 captain choices this week, but is it worth triple captaining? Let's do some analysis on it. So this is a chart from Mikel Tokvam, so what are we looking at here? So we've got the teams on the left side, we've got the game weeks along the top, and we've got the number of projected fixtures for each team each week. So Arsenal and Wolves this week are on 2.0 fixtures because they've got 2 games. You can see Arsenal and Wolves are on 0 in game week 31. Man City and Palace almost certainly blank, so it's 0.1 for them currently. Game week 33 is going to be a double game week. Game week 34 blank game week. Game week 36 a small double. Game week 37 a small blank expected. The only thing with game week 33 is Arsenal and Man City play one another, so that means Gabriel will be definitely worse that week. Maybe Arsenal could be better, but it's not the best double for Haaland, is it? Though the second of that double could be Burnley away, or it could be Palace home, which is already the likely postponement from game week 31. We don't know who's going to double and blank exactly, so these are projected fixtures. It depends on the FA Cup. However, that 74% of 1.74 against Man City in game week 36 would make Haaland a potentially very good and better triple captain that week. They've got Brentford home, and the other one would be Palace home or Burnley away potentially. Do a shot every time I say potentially in this video, sorry about that. So in theory, Haaland playing Brentford home and then one of Palace home or Burnley away is better, but it's not a given. In the past, I've generally taken the approach of just grab the opportunity in front of you rather than risk better later. And then definitely that is Gabriel this week, but it's actually not worked out great for me in the past when I've sort of gone for what's in front of me rather than wait. You know, for example, when Haaland had Leeds earlier this season, I should have waited. He ended up blanking. So I'm just about leaning towards saving the triple captainship, long story short. I'm going to spend some more time looking at it, though obviously we haven't got much time since it's a Tuesday deadline. I could still end up going for it, to be honest, but right now I'm leaning towards saving it. Are you guys using it or are you saving it? What's your plan? The other thing about saving it that some of you might find appealing is when we get to Double Gameweek 36, you can choose accordingly with the triple captainship based on where you are. You know, if you're like happy with where your rank is by that point or your mini league position, then you could play conservative. Or if you need a big swing week, then you could go for the differential and aim for the maximum variance. So just quickly, the rest of the defence. Liverpool finally hitting some good fixtures again. Sunderland away, to be fair, not an easy fixture, but the next 6 are Van Dijk, leading all the way up to the blank, overall decent games. They're joint second with Man City for projected clean sheets on the Focal app over the next 5. O'Reilly's a big concern for me this game week. Like, he did get the start against Liverpool, but I just lost confidence in his security of starts every week, and Aït-Nouri's playing pretty well, so I could sell him this week, and if I was to make a transfer out, it might be him, unless Mbeumo's injured, but we'll talk transfer plans in a sec. City fans, let me know if you think he starts home to Fulham. It's a really tricky one, because my bench is very weak in Game Week 26. The midfield is Bruno, Rice, Enzo, and Mbeumo and Lafay. Double Man United attack, which went amazing last game week. I think West Ham are going to be highly motivated because they really could still dig themselves out of the relegation zone. Like, they're only 3 points from safety, so I don't think this will be an easy game, as it might have been earlier in the season at least. And Mbeumo was seen leaving Old Trafford limping after the Spurs game, which is concerning. He took a few kicks during the game, so it could have just been a knock. Hopefully it is. The quick turnaround doesn't help matters either. Like, Man United have got the shortest turnaround. They're playing again on Tuesday night. I'm recording this before Man United's press conference, which I expect to be on Monday at some point. Hopefully Karaj sheds some light on the Mbeumo situation there. As long as the journalists ask, then we'll get an answer from Karaj. I'll discuss transfer plans if he's fine and what the plan is if he's out in a sec. Rice, vice-captain. His goal involvements have dried up a bit lately. Game week 20 was the last time he scored or assisted, and that was the brace against Bournemouth, if you recall, in the first game week of the new year. That was a 17-pointer though, which is a reminder of how high his ceiling can be. If he split his season up into pairs of game weeks, there's some combined returns like 12 points, 14, 20, 16. I think there's very little between him and Gabriel. I just about have the captaincy on Gabriel this week. The only thing is, I'm expecting the Arsenal defence to be around 300% effective ownership combined, or maybe just over that with triple captaincy. So even with Raya and captain Gabriel, you'll still drop rank for each point the Arsenal defence get, which is crazy. I'll basically have triple defence as well, including captaincy, and it's still going to cost me rank. Rice is the big upside alternative basically, but you're going to have 100% of Arsenal's defensive points going against you then. And that could go horribly, you know, if they keep back-to-back clean sheets. Or if Arsenal concede and Rice gets one of those double-digit returns, then it's huge upside. Enzo registered 1.02 non-pen expected goal involvement against Wolves. Palmer registered 0.23 non-pen XGI. Enzo 2-pointer, Palmer 20-pointer. Obviously the brace coming from the penalties. I'm happy to have Enzo for the next 2, but this is again why I'd love to roll if I could. He needs to go in Game Week 28 before that Arsenal game, plus they've got other players to potentially replace, like O'Reilly, Lafay and Mbeumo, etc. The plan wasn't to have to play Lafay this week, but the Saka injury has complicated plans. It might be his last ever week in the starting 11 if I keep him, but he does keep surviving due to other issues, so let's see. As it stands, I think I'm going to finally be selling Lafay this week. Moving on to the front 2 quickly, and then we'll do transfer plans. So Mane is my 4th and final double gameweek player. I'm definitely not going to add another Wolves asset, and he came in purely for this week when Ekitike was being downgraded to fund Mbeumo, which hasn't ended up the best move. It's actually in my interest for Mane to wipe Arsenal's clean sheet, which is crazy to say when I'm captaining Gabriel. However, incredibly unlikely that is for Mane, because yeah, the Arsenal defence's effective ownership is going to be higher than my ownership. It's the Forest game that I think has any sliver of hope for Mane. He actually does take corner for Wolves. It was his corner that led to them wiping Chelsea's clean sheet last game week, though it was flicked on corner, so no Mane assist. Man City are top for projected goals this week, excluding double gameweek fixtures, with 2.5. Bookies odds not yet available for the second matchup. Chelsea are second with 2.1, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Palace and 1.9 goals, Villa and Forest 1.8. If this wasn't a double game week, don't get me wrong, it'd be Haaland captain, and he's actually got an amazing record against them. He's played them 7 times and he's scored 7 goals and 3 assists in the league against them. So the bench is Dubravka, Thiago, Mukiele and Anderson. Who would you guys start between Thiago and Lafay if I was to roll? Obviously both are on penalties, both are playing against defenders I own, so it's not great. Technically starting Thiago's got the bigger upside, because if he scores, I actually gain rank from that, even though with 2 clean sheets wiped or 3 have capped him. Though it's a tougher game for Brentford against Arsenal. Lafay's fixture is slightly better and he's got that chance of DEFCON, so it's really close. But in terms of transfer plans, I've got 2.8 million after selling Saka, which gives me a lot of options. I have got some doubts over O'Reilly, so Munoz looks really good to bring in. He's got Burnley, Wolves and Leeds home in his next 5. Man United and Spurs away in there as well. He'd need to be sold again in Game Week 31 though, so I'm a bit too reluctant to add another blank Game Week 31 player, or in this case replace one with another. It's looking like I've currently got 6 players that are going to blank, so unfortunately I'm going to have to chalk that one off. If I was sitting on more free transfers, I'd be all over it. I can afford to do Lafay to Rodgers. I've got 0.1 mil spare for that. After scoring last match, Rodgers has already matched the 8 goals that he scored in the entirety of last season with significantly more starts. And this is the current plan, Lafay to Rodgers. I really want Wirtz from Game Week 28 as well, because he's got West Ham home and some nice fixtures from there, good underlying data. So it could be a roll in Game Week 27, and then maybe in 28 it would be Rice and Enzo out to Dango and Wirtz in Game Week 28. That's only got 0.1 million spare as well though, so it could be cutting it a bit too fine, we'll have to see. If Mbeumo is also confirmed out of Game Week 26, then it'll be Mbeumo to Wirtz for a -4 hit. Brentford have got such good fixtures after Arsenal, so I don't mind doubling up an attack, and he's a perfectly good alternative for Sharda. He's 5.8 million, Sharda is 7 million. In fact, Dango is averaging 4.5 points per match this season, Sharda 3.7. If you appreciate the double upload day, do hit like and subscribe below. It's going to be another double upload day tomorrow. We'll have Tom's team selection coming first this time, and then the experts later in the evening. See you soon for the next one.